Hold on real quick here. Try to get our slideshow officially up. And I got to double check this too, because I know that I've had a couple times that seems like when I have the countdown on, although I click on stop share and then I click on share the new slides, I've seen a couple times where it didn't upload. I had to like turn it off and then turn it back on. Like you had to do it twice for it to actually take. So I'm actually heading over to the Trevorian page right now just to make sure slides okay. All right. Thank you, Miss Mahmuda. All right. So with that, we're going to be talking about Trevorium, A Better Life Requires a Better Way. In fact, hold on real quick. Let me turn my camera on. There we are. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you happen to be. You might be catching us on the replay. Again, I want to officially welcome you guys all to our training call today. I do have a special guest on today, Pastor Mel Keys, a phenomenal leader. Today, we're going to be talking about entrepreneurship. And, you know, in fact, the fact that a better life requires a better way. And when you talk about entrepreneurship, when you talk about, you know, how do I get the better life? Well, number one, you have to first and foremost realize that you got to become an entrepreneur. By the way, I got the wrong slides. So give me 1 second here. That's what we call a false start. Okay, now I think we got the right slides. Click on share. Okay, here we go. So now we got the right slideshow. And so when we talk about when we talk about how do I get a better life, how do I go out there and get more out of life? Well, we're going to go back to a slide that we show all the time through our normal presentations. And of course, if you've not read the book Rich Dad Poor Dad, if you've not read the book Cash Flow Quadrant, if you've not read the book The E-Myth, which is the entrepreneurial myth by Michael Gerber, these are all phenomenal books that you should read to help you understand that the goal of getting ahead financially, it's never gonna happen with a JOB. I mean, JOB means just over broke, journey of the broke. It always has, it always will, right? And when you look at the job scenario, many people work just hard enough to keep from being fired, and the people that pay you just enough to keep you from quitting, right? And it's kind of a vicious cycle, but there's no real prosperity in that equation. And you can meet people that either have a job or own a job. And understand that there's some people that are self-employed, but they don't really have a business that works, meaning that they're doing everything. And this goes back to whether you're reading Cash Flow Quadrant or the book The E-Myth by Michael Gerber, where the person, you take the individual out of the business, the whole thing collapses because the person that runs the business does everything. I mean, they're doing the accounting, they're doing the this, they're doing the that, they're doing the purchasing, they're doing the shipping, they're sweeping the floors, they're the ones that hire everyone, they're the only ones that know how to do this or this or this or this. And they're like a 5-ring circus, just keeping all the plates spinning. If they were to take a breath for a second, the whole thing would come crashing down. If we were to remove that entrepreneur from the business, there is no business, meaning they own a job, they don't own a business. And so the goal of getting ahead is you got to have a business that works so you don't have to. Meaning the purpose of a business is to be a freeing experience, to free you up so that you can do what you want, when you want, with whom you want, because you want. You want a business that works so that even if you were light beamed off the planet, heaven forbid, the money would continue to come in. I mean, somebody would inherit that business. It's a perfect little money making machine. And whoever your loved ones would inherit it. And I mean, someone keeps running it and they keep doing all the things, and of course the money keeps coming through. Another thing you can do is get your money to work for you. I got my money making me money, right? Are you going to work today? Nah, I'm not going to work today. You're not? No, I got my money making me money. I got my money going to work today, right? In fact, it works 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Don't talk back. And so you got your money making you money. Well, obviously here in our company, we're teaching people how to do both. Here's how to have a business that works. We're going to talk about network marketing. And then here's obviously how to have your money making you money. But I kind of want to take you through the cycle of being an entrepreneur. Because when you look at a Trevorian business, I know that sometimes we get that mindset of like, oh yeah, but it costs $49 to get started. And it costs, if I want to do the titanium package, it's $69 a month, and platinum, oh my gosh, it's $125 a month. And I got to pay $249 to join. And sometimes we like get psyched out by that stuff. Well, when I started my entrepreneurial career, I was 13 years old. In fact, I'll back up. I was 12 years old, and I went to see my grandfather. We went there for a week every summer. Mom and Dad went on some trip, didn't take us kids. I understand that more today than I did back then. But as kids, oh yeah, we're going to Grandma and Grandpa for a week, and we did that once, every summer. We got to go to Grandma and Grandpa's for a week. Well, I'm there, and my grandfather just sold his restaurant, and my grandfather was one of these guys that he had to work until the day he died, or he'd have died a lot sooner. He just had to keep busy, stay busy. Well, so when he sold the restaurant, then he had a little riding mower and he started mowing grass all over town. And I'm actually I went with him and I'm doing a little push mower, kind of helping out thing. And so I'm riding on his mower. We're driving back, right, in a little town where he actually drove, the lawnmower to the job. And so we're riding back, and I'm riding on the mower with him. I say, "Hey, Grandpa, how much do you think you might make this summer?" He said, "I don't know, probably about $3,200. I'm like, $3,200? I mean, this is 1982. You have any idea how many candy bars you can buy for $3,200? I mean, that seemed like all the money in the world. And so suddenly I got excited about doing lawns and making money. And so my dad got excited that I was excited. Well, next thing you know, we went and bought a John Deere 111 tractor. And I was looking for the picture. I have a picture of me when I was 13 on that exact tractor. I tried to find it this morning. I found some other pictures, but I will pull that up. I realized I should make that part of my historical, document here, right? But this is the tractor that I bought, right, back in 1983. And you can see the price there at the bottom. I mean, it was $2,100 to buy this little tractor. I mean, it didn't even have hydrostat. Now, somebody might, what's hydrostat? It's like having an automatic versus a stick shift, right? And so they cost $2,100 just for the mower. Well, I got to get a push mower, which is $500. I got to get a weed eater, which is $250, a backpack blower, which is $250, and we had to get a trailer, which cost us another $1,400. I mean, just to go do some lawns in the neighborhood cost thousands of dollars to get started. Now, I have kind of an addictive personality, right? And so, I didn't just do lawns in the neighborhood. Next thing you know, I got some commercial accounts. Next thing you know, I'm in high school. I got kids that are working for me. I got a couple of cars, and I'm a rich little kid. I mean, hamburgers for everybody. Now, by the time I became 21, this is a picture of me on my 21st birthday. And that is obviously my lawn and landscape company on the front of that cake. At this time, I had 10 trucks on the road and 25 employees. I had borrowed $100,000, from the bank to build this company. I had 2 full-time mechanics just try to keep all of our stuff running, 250 headaches, and no time was the reason given for all the girls who dumped me, okay, including the one that I'm holding on to right there. Her name was Whitney Ackerman. My grandma always hoped that we would get married, right? Back when I was, again, 19, 20, 21, 22, I'm out selling to everyone in town on hiring our company. We became the largest lawn and landscape company in Champaign County. And I'm out, I'm at the shop. I got a 4,000 square foot shop with the big overhead doors. And I'm down there and I'm like trying to read books on personal development and study stuff. I'm subscribing to Forbes magazine. I'm anxious and being an entrepreneur and getting ahead. And as you can imagine, some of the girls I was dating at that time, including the one right there, Miss Whitney, back, I think I was 21, she was like 20. Friday night, I'm at the lawn care, place until 9 o'clock at night. And they didn't think that was cool back then. Hey, I want to go out and we're going dancing and drinks. And this guy, he's a buzzkill. So, I didn't even drink at this time. In fact, it's funny. You see the Andre champagne back there for my 21st birthday, because you can now legally drink. And I'm like, I don't really drink. And so anyway, it's one thing to have a company, right? But I didn't own a business that works, right? It owned me. I lived there, right? I got all this money involved. I got all these employees, all these headaches. I'm the chief guy doing everything, the bookkeeping, the bill collecting. We're having to sue people to get paid. You got accounts collectible. All the headaches, right? And so again, this is me when my young career. Well, eventually you start looking at other aspects. You look at other ways of making money. And some people think, maybe franchising, that's the way to go. Well, I threw up some stats here about franchising. Number one, 51.5% of all food franchises make less than $50,000 per year. That's even today, okay? Even today. Less than 7% will ever make $250,000 per year. Folks, we got people making a lot more money than that in Trevorium, okay? And only 7% of all the franchises. Now, that includes people that own a McDonald's. where you put up a 1.2 million to 2.1 million, and that does not include the real estate. Okay. How about a Burger King, which can be 1.8 million to 3.2 million? A Dunkin' Donuts can cost you 500,000 to 1.6 million. That does not include the real estate or the donuts, by the way. A Subway costs $250,000, and the average store only grosses slightly more than a Baskin Robbins. They closed almost 900 stores last year, meaning a lot of those entrepreneurs that put up their 250,000, sorry, it didn't work. 900 of them are no longer even around. All right. They went out of business, right? And of the ones that didn't go out of business and stuck around, they made on average about $41,000 on the high side. Okay. You had to put 250 grand so that you can get yourself kind of a lousy job. Now, some of the Subways, like the one that's the closest one to me, where I live, they're open 24 hours a day. Now, I don't know if you know this, but those teenagers don't always show up for their shift. Okay. That means this thing owns you. You don't own it. If that teenager doesn't show up, you got to go down and man the store, right? Or people pull up, hey, I thought you guys were open and you're not open, right? I mean, you're down there cutting the tomatoes, shredding the lettuce, baking the bread, try to keep the people happy. I mean, you're doing this, you're doing it. And it's all so you can make 41,000. We have 3-star directors. We had a gentleman go 3-star director in our company in 9 days. As a 3-star director, you're making $30,000 to $40,000 per year. You can go pick out a Mercedes, BMW, Range Rover. Of course, for most people, this is still part-time. Or you can go put up $250,000 and get a Subway franchise. And again, I'm just trying to put this out in context for you, right? That if you want a better life requires a better way. If you want to become an entrepreneur, this is the entrepreneurial road. You can get your own thing, even a little lawn care business, right? Cost me, thousands of dollars to get started, even when I'm 13. And then by the time I'm 20, by the time I'm 19, I'm $100,000 in debt to a bank. I've got all these trucks, all these employees, all this stuff, right? When I'm 21, no girl wants to be with me because I got no time. All I'm doing is my lawn care thing. And you're thinking, yeah, well, maybe if I did the franchise thing, well, I'm showing you the franchise thing here on the screen. Maybe if I stick with the job thing, well, we already talked about that's no way to get ahead, right? I mean, JOB means just over broke. Well, you can then embrace network marketing, okay? And the network marketing industry has been growing by leaps and bounds. In fact, we will pass 200 billion this year. But I want to put even today's network marketing compared to network marketing, even when I got started. And I don't have a picture of when I first got started, but I do have some pictures from way back. Some of you may recognize a couple of those characters on the screen. Me with a little more hair and a little less gray. This is back, I think this picture was in 2001. But obviously I had met Mr. David Hart. I met Daryl Maria Roberts back in 1998. So I'm a few years older than when I met him. But that's a picture of David Hart. And that's a picture, by the way, some of you may know Josh Hart. In fact, Dave and Josh had stopped by an event we were doing. They just got done playing a basketball game. Dave was the coach. So that's why, Dave's got his coaching thing on, and Josh is still in his basketball uniform. But obviously, Josh is a grown man today that just had his 3rd child yesterday. And here he is, a little kid, just got done playing basketball. It gives you an idea how old this picture is. But back in 1998, the company we were with, if you wanted to join that company, it was going to cost you, it was a service company. It was $1,200 up front to join. And remember, this is in 1998 money, right? We're not talking about today's money. We're talking back in 1998. Back when cheeseburgers were still 60 cents. Back when you could go to fast food and you could do the whole combo meal for about $5. Today, you go there and it's $14, right? So we're talking about a different economy. Back then, minimum wage was probably $4 an hour. Today they're flirting with 15, right? So people are making a lot more money today than they were back then. And back then, to join that company was $1,200 up front. You were going to pay $100 to $400 per month for the service. Now, understand that just got you in the business. That doesn't mean you can run a business, because back then, if you wanted to share the business, you had to buy the videotapes. Okay. We didn't even have CDs yet. That hadn't come out yet. That was futuristic kind of technology. We were buying videotapes, VHS, right? And we used to teach the script, hey, Pastor Mill, man, hey, I got something new, something exciting. People making money all over the place. Warm up the VCR. I'm coming over. Warm up the VCR. I'm coming over. Well, that meant I had to go buy the videotapes. And if I want to hand out the and have prospects, right? We're teaching do 2 a day minimum. Well, I got to have enough videotapes to like be circulating. And then even going back to get the videotape back from someone that wasn't interested was a technique we had to teach to try to make it more even affordable for people that were trying to build a business. Because, you know, I mean, each videotape cost you $5 to $8 each. And so if you wanted 10 tapes, that's 50 to 80 bucks. If you were really aggressive, you might need 20 tapes or 30 tapes. Well, if you never get them back, then you got to buy another 20, 30 tapes. Well, so a lot of times you're like, hey, I want to try to get that back if they're not interested. We used to go out and do the video drop. Well, now you're out driving all over town, right? Which is costing you gas. And then you got to go drop the videotape stuff. Well, by the way, you normally didn't just leave them on video. A lot of times you had a couple of different cassette tape options. You had brochures you had to buy. And so a lot of times you're buying this stuff, by the way, if you got a team, now you're buying supplies, not just for your individual needs, but you're buying supplies to make sure that your team, if they're brand new and excited, man, I got Pastor Mel started today. Pastor Mel says, man, I want to go tell my buddy John about this. Well, hey, you got to wait for the order to come from the company. I mean, buzzkill, right? So no, you got to buy some extra stuff so that if you get Pastor Mel started, hey, Pastor Mel, come on over, man. We got some tapes, we got some brochures, we got some cassette tapes right now. That's just for the marketing materials, okay? Don't forget, if you want to get on any of the calls back then, there was no flat rate long distance. That hadn't been invented. It was 28 cents a minute. I had some phone bills back in my networking career where we were spending $2,000 on the phone bill because it was 28 cents a minute to call people and do all the stuff. Now, let's say that I did want to get Pastor Mel. Well, I'm in California and Pastor Mel's in San Antonio, Texas. That means when he says, man, Todd, this sounds great, man, send me the info. I had to go grab my videotape, grab my cassette tape, grab the brochures, go down to Airborne Express, put that in a package. And we went to Airborne because FedEx was too expensive. At Airborne, we could ship it for $7 to $11. And that was like a great price to get it to Pastor Mel in the next 48 hours, right? And then he would get the package, he would open it up, and I had countless people say, nah, let me think about it, not really sure. I'm like, hey, I just mailed you, $10 worth of stuff. I just paid $10. I mean, I just mailed you a $20 bill and you're going to think about it or probably tell me no. But if you want to build a business, I mean, that's what you got to do. You had no choice. We called it sending out a long distance package, and you would kind of teach the concept of, hey, just send out one a week, right? Send out one a week to someone long distance, right? Well, why not lots of people? Why not try to get Mahmoud in the UK? UK? Who said anything about the UK? You couldn't possibly think about doing business in the UK or France or some of the other places. It was just too cost prohibitive. I mean, you know what it costs to call the UK or to ship packages over to the UK? I mean, forget about the UK. I mean, just focus on your little local marketplace and maybe occasionally send out some packets here and there to see if you can get a little group growing somewhere else, right? And this is the business. Now, we're not done. Because back then we did have cell phones, right? They were bag phones. You got the big old brick thing and you pull it up, right? That cost about $400 a month. Back then, if you wanted to, go to the weekly meeting, you didn't just hop on the Zoom like we do every Sunday night with Pastor Deborah and Guy Taylor, and every Monday night and every Tuesday night and Wednesday night and Thursday night. No, you got to go to the local meeting. Well, someone had to rent the meeting room. And if you're that person, it's going to cost you probably $100 a week to rent the meeting room. And then you got to charge people at the door, and you got to get people to come down. And then you got to go buy the name tags, write their name, and then you got to collect the money at the door. And so even if you're going to the weekly meeting, which everybody did if you're in the business, right? And you're inviting people down there. And of course, you had to get all dressed up, and you're standing out in front of the hotel praying your guest is going to show up. Sometimes they did, sometimes they didn't. The ones that did, they come in all smiling and happy. The ones that didn't, they got to come in. They didn't come, but you still had to get dressed up, and you got sat there at the meeting tonight to learn the presentation. And then you had to pay money at the door, just to get in. You had to pay your $5 or $10 a week, to contribute to the weekly meeting, to make the weekly meeting affordable, so that, they could continue it, right? Well, we're not done, because then afterwards, you typically go out, to go to the restaurant, a piece of pie or, a cup of soup and coffee. And, kind of the meeting after the meeting is more important than the meeting, right? But we're not done. Because if you then want to get a conference call, they didn't have free conference calling back then. They didn't have free Zooms back then. If you wanted to do that, I mean, you had to get a conference call line, which, and this is, doing some big time leadership stuff. That's going to cost you $300 to $700 a month, to get your own conference call line. I mean, today you can get a free Zoom free. Okay. Or if you want to step it up and have your own Zoom and unlimited, I think it's like $20 a month. I mean, for less money than it took to go to a weekly meeting back then, you got your own Zoom room that works anywhere in the world. Okay. Now, but we're not done, because back then, see, we're on a training right now. And if you want to go to a training meeting back then, well, they charge more than the weekly meeting. To go to a training meeting might cost you 10, 15 bucks at the door, because sometimes less people showed up, for those. And then also you had to buy the cassette tapes. So like last week, you heard Daryl on here, and he was talking about A.L. Williams, Art Williams. And so if you wanted to learn from Art Williams, we had to go buy the program. And of course, they were cassette tapes. Of course, some of you young people like cassette tapes. What are cassette tapes? And so, they had to go buy these antiquated cassette tapes, and they typically charge anywhere from $60 to $100, to get the little plastic shell that had, all the different cassette tapes in there. And if you wanted to train your team, well, then you got to loan it out and hope you get it back. But I mean, you can see that the speed of information was based on, well, hey, Pastor Mel, I loaned my tapes to Mahmuda, and so I can't get you, but when I get them back, then I'll get it to you. And then you can hear Jim Rohn. And so, or order your own for $60 to $100, right? And so I'm just trying to compare that even in the last, 20 years, where networking has gone from back then to where it is today. Today, what does it cost you for long distance? Nothing. I mean, you can call unlimited on your cell phone bill. I mean, you're all paying a cell, right? You already have a cell phone. Every prospect you talk to already has a cell phone, and they don't charge per call anymore. It's just whatever you're paying, and you can text whoever you want, and you can call whoever you want, and it's all part of what you're already paying. What does it cost to get on the Zoom? Nothing. Well, it costs internet. Yeah, but who doesn't have internet at their house? You already have internet. There's no increase in expenditure for someone to participate in our video or to participate in all of our events. Now, what does it cost to get the videos in our business today? Well, nothing. I mean, you just send them over to chavorian.com/presentation, and that's the webinar. Or we got, the 2-minute video, the 3-minute video on the Forex. We got the 3-minute video on travel only. We got the 4-minute video on the combo. Well, what does it cost to watch those? What do you mean? It doesn't cost anything to watch those. You just give them the link. Hold on. You're telling me you can give the link to as many people as you want? You don't have to buy the VHS tape and the cassette tape and the brochure and airborne and send. No. You just text it to them. You just send them a little text message. They click on it. They can watch it right on their phone. What's it cost to go to the training? Nothing. I'm on the training. I already had internet. I mean, I'm now on here listening to the training. Yeah, but what about the cassette tapes? Well, you just go over to YouTube and you can type in A.L. Williams. You can type in Jim Rohn. You can type in Zig Ziglar. You could type in Nightingale Conant. You could type in Earl Nightingale. You can type in the magic of thinking big. You can type in almost anything on YouTube. Les Brown, Brenda Bichard, Grant Cardone. You can download 10 million podcasts where the greatest minds, the greatest networkers, the greatest people on personal development, skill development, everything you can think of, right, is on there for free. Cost you nothing. Nada. Goose egg. You don't have to go borrow $100,000 and get 10 trucks and 25 guys. You don't have to go even get a John Deere 111 for $2,000 and buy a trailer. No, you don't have to buy cassette tapes or any of that. All you got to do is sign up and say, you know what? I think I might want to be a product of the product. I think I might want to, maybe get started with a platinum package. Ooh, $249 to get started and $125 a month. And guess what? If I go out and get 3, it's better than free. And right now we got our bonus running, right? Where if you get 3, not only are you earning more than you're spending, but you get that extra $150. And so if you do a platinum package, I paid $300 to join the company. I went out and sold 3 other people a platinum package. I made 50, 50, 50, because that's how our comp plan works. You make $50 direct sales, right? But you also get the extra bonus, which gave you another $150. I paid $300 to join, made 3 sales. Not only did I get my $300 back, okay, but now I'm earning more than I'm spending. You tell that to the Subway guy and he'll start crying. Like, you don't have to put up $250 million and be down here 24 hours a day. You don't have, and it's going to take you 5 years to break even if you're one of the lucky ones to break even. Because remember, 900 went out of business. They're out their $250,000 and their business is no more. It went bye-bye. And they're probably the lucky ones because the other ones are down there 24/7 to make less money than you can make as a 3-star director driving a brand new BMW. And so I'm just trying to put this kind of in a context here, that your job is to become a product of the product. Now, when you become a product of the product, what does that mean? Well, my wife and I were sitting by the fire last night, and we obviously have the points, and we have all the world tours coming up. We have double accounts, right? We actually, I mean, she has an account, I have an account. Daryl and Maria are doing the same thing. Pastor Bell and his wife are doing the same thing, because we want all those extra travel points. By the way, we went and got 3 for each account. So what's it costing us? Nothing. We're accumulating all these travel points, and it's costing us nothing. In fact, in my wife and I's case, we're actually both ambassadors in the company. I mean, we're actually getting paid to do this, right? But put that to the side. I'm talking to the brand new person. Okay. You go get 3, that's costing you nothing. So we have all these points in the world tours coming up. We have this idea last night. What would be cool? We're going to go to Punta Cana, and our oldest daughter and her husband and their 2 kids have dreamed of going to Punta Cana. You know what? Why don't we bring them with us? We'll get 2 rooms. They can have one. We'll have the other. We'll bring them to Punta Cana with us. Well, by the way, last night we were also booking Rome. Well, our middle daughter, who just became a dentist, she's going to finish up her internship. I mean, she's becoming a periodontist, like gum surgery, that kind of thing. She's doing her residency. She's going to be done in summer, right? Wouldn't it be cool as a happy graduation, right? She's already, for becoming a periodontist. What if we took her to Rome, her and her fiance, took them to Rome with us? We'll just get 2 rooms. We have the points, but then we're going to go to Dubai. Well, our youngest and her husband have always wanted to go to Dubai. What if we took them with us, right? I mean, and what's it cost us? Nothing. And this is this is a lot different than the lawn care thing I did. This is a lot different than having to go buy a Subway franchise, right? And this is also a lot different than even in the old days of networking. You just got to become a product of the product. And here's what it means to be a product of the product. How cool is that, right? And thank you, Mahmoud, for the idea, right? I mean, hey, maybe I'll take somebody with me. And if I take somebody with me, and of course, these are our kids. We're not necessarily, if they want to, build a business, great. If they don't, great. I mean, we're not, she actually did was clever, took a friend, and they want to buy their own, great. But one of the greatest ways to expose someone is to take them with you on a vacation. So that's buying a platinum membership. And should I buy a platinum membership? Yeah. Maybe I should do the titanium. Hey, look, as long as you get started, that's all that matters. Okay. That's all that matters. But when you put it in the context of entrepreneurship, right? I'm going to encourage you to stretch, right? Stretch a little bit, because everything else is pretty much free. I mean, we paid more money per month, way back when in 1998 than we do today. And look at the service that you're getting. When it's a platinum member, you're getting up to 4 vacations per year. Yeah, Todd, but what about the 4X? Well, by the way, we buy the 4X too. And I had a gentleman yesterday, by the way, to give him some props, Mr. Lawrence. We had him on our call on Wednesday. He's new with us, okay? He just started trading, but he's making over $100 a day trading. So yesterday he calls me up, and he's got his buddy Conrad on there. And Conrad's all excited. Now, why would Conrad be excited? Because Lawrence showed him he's making $100 a day. This isn't costing me money. This is making me money, and I'm just getting started. I mean, I'm making $100 a day, and I'm like a week in. Where do you think I'm going to be a month from now, 2 months from now, 6 months from now? Some of you saw that screen a moment ago. I had the slide of Chris Coleman up there. And Chris Coleman's a gentleman. He's a professional musician out of Las Vegas, Nevada. If I'll pull up the text and see if I can find it here. And Chris is a guy that tried a lot of different things to make money in his lifetime, right? He's tried this, he's tried that. And unfortunately for Chris, nothing really ever worked. He's always kind of struggled. Well, Chris then got involved with the Forex industry. And in about 12 months' time, here it is. I just pulled it up on the screen. Chris took his account. If you guys can kind of see the number there, now that 3,200 is what he made in a day. If you look at the account balance, you see where it says the account balance, $100,972. He took his account balance from zero, okay, to $101,000 in 12 months. How many of you like to take your balance from zero to $101,000 in 12 months, right? Well, what do you think Lawrence is doing? He's already at 100 a day. That's $3,000 a month. But as he starts to build more money, he can then start investing more money, trading more money, which means before long, he'll be telling a story of making 300 a day, 400 a day. And he can eventually get to like my buddy, Chris, where he made, I clicked on something there. What'd I click on? What'd I do? Okay, close. Okay. He made 3,200 in one day, right? He got to the point he made $3,200 in one day. So yeah, Todd, but that's an extra 99 a month. Tell that to the Subway guy who had to put up $250,000. Tell that to the little 1983 lawn care guy that had to buy 2,200, John Deere 111. Are you an entrepreneur? Are you not an entrepreneur? Do you in fact want a better life or do you not? Right? And if you go get 3, right, what does that cost you? Nothing, right? Because if I get 3, I'm earning more than I'm spending. So if I buy the platinum package and I buy the Forex package together, okay, that's going to cost me a whole $399 to get started. It's going to cost me $225 a month until I get 3. And at that moment, I'm now earning more than I'm spending. And you cannot do that with a lawn care business. You cannot do that with a Subway business, a McDonald's business, a Dunkin' Donuts business, or you cannot do that even back in 1998, right, with a business back then, because you had all these other expenses involved. Guys, it costs less money to be a platinum travel trader in our company than it cost me and a lot of people that you guys hear all the time, right? Because we got started a while ago in this industry. It cost us more money to be involved with companies back then than it costs today to be the very Cadillac platinum travel trader in our business. And again, if you tell 3, you're earning more than you're spending. So am I encouraging to be a product of the product? Yeah. Because what's it mean to be a product of the product? Well, again, on the trading side, they give out the crypto signals. They give out all that kind of stuff. And I've showed this before and I'll show it again because obviously, we pay people to give us advice. We pay people to give us tips. My wife and I, we paid a guy named Jacob Canfield. We were paying him $400 a month to give us some tips on what we should be buying. He said, you got to go buy this thing called Theta, Theta. So we bought some Theta. We put 8,000 in. Our account balance, I showed this before. Sometimes I just like to show you guys, right? This says, you see where it says August 2020, right? And then you can see the account balance for Gate.io was $10,705.74, right? And at that time, that account was 10 grand. Well, by the way, that account balance is now 168,697. And that's since August, right? Since August that has happened. And so, again, I'm not, the point is when you hire experts, right? Well, that's what you're doing with our Forex team. They're teaching you how to do the Forex. They're teaching you how to do the crypto. They're teaching you how to trade. So we took the advice from the crypto guys that we're, now paying, right? Our current team. And this is again, back in December, they gave some advice. We took that advice, decided to follow it. And that account balance, we took that initial 25,000 and that account balance is now 104,000 since December, right? It's only March 1. And that's what's happened since December. And so again, that's being a product of the product, but does it cost me money or make me money? That's my point, that even our product makes you money. And yet there's people out there like, I don't know. And so I'm kind of like trying to shake the screen here a little bit, right? Like, what are you kidding me? It has never been more advantageous. It's never been more doable because you don't have to start with both. You can start with one, go get 3 and stair step your way there. Although I'm encouraging you to start with both because if you do both, you're going to run more volume. As you start looking into our compensation program, right? And you start looking, hey, what does it take to make money here? Well, if you do one service, let's say you do Forex only, it takes you 9 people in your left leg and 9 people in your right leg to become a 1-star director, making $400 to $700 a month. By the way, that's phenomenal because in most companies, I can tell you it takes a lot more than that. In most companies, right? You'd be earning like $60 a month. Right here, it only takes 9 people. But if you're doing a titanium travel trader, it only takes 5 people. And if you're doing a platinum travel trader, it only takes 4. So imagine that. I need half as many people to go out and make the same check. Well, in our kind of a business, right? People always want to know how long you've been in, how much you're making. Again, how long you've been in, how much you're making. And so, that kind of a business, you want to drive a story. You want to drive an income. And you can say, hey, I've been in a week and I'm making $400 to $700 a month. Wow, how'd you do that? Well, I went out and sponsored 4, put 2 on my left, 2 on my right, helped them get 1 person each. Everyone did the platinum travel trader. I'm a 1-star director, making $400 to $700 a month. Okay, well, how about becoming a 2-star director? Well, again, if you do one service, Forex only, it's It's got to take you 28 on the left, 28 on the right. By the way, that's phenomenal, because in most companies, to make $2,000 a month, you're going to have a team of 500 people. That's only 56 people. So again, that's unbelievable. However, again, how long you've been and how much you're making. The more compelling your story is, the faster you drive a result, the more people are going to get excited. And so if you do one service, right, 28 left, 28 right, making a couple grand a month. However, if you do the titanium travel trader, you can get there with 17 on the left, 17 on the right. But if you do the platinum travel trader, okay, then it only takes 14 on the left and 14 on the right to make the exact same money. Okay. And so, 14 left, 14 right. And now you're making, minimum 1,500 a month, can't be less. And with the coded money, you're right at $2,000, could be 2,100. Some people, but as high as 2,500, right? Now you're somewhere in that $2,000 neighborhood. And how did I get there? Well, I went out and sponsored 4. Okay. I got 2 on the left, 2 on the right. I helped my 4 get 4. Okay. That means that you now have a total of 20 people, 10 on the left, 10 on the right. I got 4. I helped my 4 get 4, 10 on the left, 10 on the right. And if they're all doing platinum travel traders, it means we're only 4 people away on each side from being at $2,000 per month. That's profit. That means you're making $24,000 per year. Tell that to the Subway guy who put up $250,000, hoping to make 41 grand if he's one of the super achievers, right? And you're already at 24 grand, right? You didn't put up any money. Oh yeah, you did. I'm sorry. You put up $399 to get started. You're accumulating vacations, right? 4 vacations per year. You're getting 4X education that, by the way, is already making Lawrence $100 a day. It made Danny Segwedal, he just started, by the way, $700 in one day. It's for Cynthia Sly and her husband, Mike. They just got started. They made $700 right out of the gate. Their first week trading, $700, right? I mean, they already got their money back. It only cost $399 to get started, $225 a month. And on the product alone, it's all free just from the trading that they're doing. Okay. And so again, whose side are you on? As far as, are you wanting to succeed? It sounds like we're mentally getting in our own way, and we're mentally making this stuff bigger than what it should be. And I'm just trying to kind of put it in context, right? And you put it in the context this way, it's like, wow, we really got a pretty good thing here, don't we? Yeah, we got an unbelievable thing here. Plus you get a championship ring. Okay, well, if you then go out and help, someone in your left leg and right leg get a championship ring, well, guess what? Now you're a 3-star director. Now you're driving a brand new BMW. This is my wife's BMW that she went and picked up. This is the Grand Coupe. It's the i6 M package, right? Car's freakishly fast, by the way. And she loves the car. What's it cost us? Nothing. So as a 3-star director, right? You are earning $30,000 to $40,000 per year. Tell that to the Subway franchise owner, right? He'll start crying. He put up $250,000. That did not include the cold cut meats. That did not include the bread. It did not include the napkins or the straws. It didn't include the sign on the front of the door. It didn't include the rent that he has to pay every month. It didn't include the employees or the smocks they wear or the knives they use to cut all the tomatoes and the lettuce. It doesn't include any of that. It's just $250,000 to get started. It's going to take him 5 years to break even. 900 of them went out of business last year. And for the lucky ones, the upper echelon, they're making the same money as a 3-star director. Now, how did I become a 3-star director? Well, I put up a whole $399. Then I did $225 a month. I started trading, making money. I'm accumulating vacations. I went out and told 3. I'm now earning more than I'm spending. I sponsored 4 people, 2 on the left, 2 on the right. Now everything is completely free. Okay. I helped my 4 get 4. Right. Now I got 10 on the left, 10 on the right. I'm making $400 to $700 a month in profit. And if I get 4 more people on each side, I go to $2,000 a month and I'm wearing a championship ring. I've now helped one person, my left leg, one person, my right leg, do what I did. And now I'm making more money than the Subway franchise guy who put up $250,000 and just hoping to break even in 5 years, by the way. So again, I just try to put this stuff in context. Now, if I can go out there and help one more person in each leg get one of these bad boys, I then become a 4-star director, making $50,000 to $60,000 per year. All right. I'm making way more than the Subway guy. I'm making way more than the average franchise owner. If I were to go back to the original slide, of the franchise people that are out there, less than 50% of them make $50,000 a year. We're talking about Subway, McDonald's, Burger King, Dunkin' Donuts, people that put up big time money, and 50% of them don't even make what a 4-star director makes. How did I get there? I put up a whole $399. I'm paying $225 a month. I go out and get 3, I'm break even. Okay. I'm doing better than every franchise owner you've ever met in your life. And I'm break even. I go out and get 1 more person. I got 2 on the left, 2 on the right. Everything is free. I got 4 vacations per year. What do they cost me? Nothing. I got trading. What's it costing me? Nothing. In fact, I'm actually trading, making $100 a day, right? We got a lot of people that are in that neighborhood right now, and they're just getting started. Talk to me in 6 months to see where they're at, right? It's cost me nothing already and profit, right? Because I went out and got 2 on the left, 2 on the right. I helped my 4 get 4. I'm a 1-star director making $400 to $700 per month. I helped them get 4 more people on each side. I'm now making $2,000 a month wearing a championship ring. I helped someone on my left leg and my right leg get their championship ring. And I'm making the Subway guy cry as I pull up my brand new i6 BMW making 30 to 40 grand a year. And he's over there working 24/7, cutting cold cuts, hoping to be making as much money as I'm currently making. And I just got started. I get 1 more person each leg to get their ring. Now I'm making the entire franchise community shaking their boots because I'm doing better than half of every franchise owner you've ever met. That includes McDonald's, that includes Burger King, Dunkin' Donuts. Put a name to it, right? Those are the stats, by the way, for the Franchise Association, not Todd. That's where I got that info. Thank you, Danny Seguinal, who turned me onto the YouTube channel where they were giving out all of those stats. That's where I got it at. It's their numbers, not mine, right? And we're still just getting started. This is still, for a lot of us, part-time. I didn't have to quit my job. You think the guy at Subway quit his job? Yeah, he quit his job, put up the $250,000, bought the cold cuts, bought the knife, living at the place 24/7, hoping to make 40 grand a year. And he's got it all on the line. He's got everything on the line. He's leveraged to the hilt, right? Stressed to the hilt, no time, right? I mean, just like the girls who were dumping me way back when, he's now in the same position, other than he's probably a little older and might have or she have a significant other that, because they got a family that's a little more understanding. Like, hey, look, mom or dad are never here. And well, yeah, they're out working, right? They're trying to keep us from going under. They're hoping to build a future for us, okay? Now, you go out to help 1 more person get a ring in each leg. Guess what? You're now making more money than 90% of every franchise owner, not just 50, 90% of every franchise owner. You're in the 6-figure neighborhood. You get a free vacation that goes with it. And this goes all the way up to $3,200 a day, $96,000 a month, plus all the different bonuses from direct sales bonuses, leadership bonuses, vacation bonuses, car bonuses, ambassador pool bonuses. And let's not forget all the money that you're making in the crypto space. Let's not forget all the money you're making in the Forex space. And let's not forget that in the company, when you get big, they decide to give you an $8,000 watch just because. I mean, the Subway guy says, man, can I sell that $8,000 watch, try to pay off my debt over here at Subway? All right. I mean, so I'm just, again, trying to put stuff in context, because when you kind of start looking around, you start thinking, maybe I didn't realize how good I had it, right? Maybe I didn't realize how good I had it. And maybe, I should be taking this thing a little more seriously. Maybe I should go read that book that Daryl talked about last week, right? Maybe I should be learning the skill of peak, pass, plug. Maybe I should be on every training call, be on every opportunity call. Maybe I should really get out there. And I mean, how long does it take to call 2 people a day? No time. How long does it take to call 5 a day? No time. Maybe I should just be consistent. In fact, I got a good buddy. His name is Bill Fox. He's made huge money in the space. And I was talking to him just the other day. We were having a real big time heart to heart. He's with a company, and I don't want to reveal secrets here, but he was telling me, because there's this lady that she's just crushing it. I mean, she's making massive, massive money. And he goes, Todd, I'll never forget the training you give all the time, because she's got this training, and she's, her skill sets are mediocre at best, right? She actually turns a lot of people off. This is his words, not mine. And she turns a lot of people off. She's rough around the edges, right? But, she gets on there. She says, look, you talk to 3 people a day, you follow up with 3 a day, you put 1 on the opportunity meeting, and everything else is bull, okay? Everything else is commentary. 3 a day, prospect, follow up at 3 a day, have someone on the Zoom tonight. You do that every single day, day after day. And if you'll just do that, and she's making massive, massive money. How hard is that to do? Not hard at all. What's it cost to get on the Zoom call? Nothing. How do I meet these people? In your underwear on social media, right? Underwear not required because no one can see you. I mean, so again, I mean, I'm just again putting these things in context. Now, I have a guest on here today. We've got Pastor Mel Keys. I don't know if we got him on camera or if we just got him ringing in via telephone, but I wanted to get him on here to talk about some of this leadership, entrepreneurship. And again, Pastor Mel, I went longer than I thought I was going to go, but having some fun here, showing some old pictures and just, again, try to put things in kind of a certain context so that sometimes you realize, man, I never knew how good I had it. And of course, if you're a reader of the Bible, by the way, sometimes, you think about the story of the Israelites being taken out of out of Egypt. They were in bondage. They were in slavery. They were, it was horrible. They were praying, we don't want to be here. And then they were being taken to the promised land, the land of milk and honey, the land of abundance, the land of opulence. And along the way, you got to sometimes pay a price at some point, right? We got to travel through the desert. And along the way, they were given every blessing in the world. There's no food out here, and God gave manna from heaven. There's no water out here, and God made water come up, out of a rock and out of the ground. And oh my gosh, back in Egypt, we had a variety of meats. And God gave them so much meat, they were sick of that. And then eventually they get to the edge of the promised land, and oh my gosh, there's these people. It's going to be hard. It's horrible. We can't do it. They began to whine, and God said, "That's it. I've had it. Trip canceled. I can't take it anymore," right? None of you, except for Joshua and Caleb, the only two who stay positive, will ever go into the promised land. And I don't think that was a story 6,000 years ago. I think that was a story that's just as applicable today, that there is a land of milk and honey, a land of opulence, a land of abundance. There is a promised land out there for each and every single one of us. But along the way, if all you do is moan and complain, in the desert, you will remain. But if you can learn that, man, I never knew how good I had it, and be content in all circumstances, right? Doesn't mean you have to be content for all circumstances, but be content in all circumstances. Take every negative and turn it into a positive, right? If you can learn to do that in your mindset, then blessings will come your way. The skies can open, right? And things can happen. So Pastor Mel, I have you with us. And let me double check. We had you. Says we have you. Says you're a co-host.
I'm trying to get this camera back right the way.
There we go. There we go. We can hear you now.
Give me just one moment. I had the camera working and then it just went off. I'm trying to figure this thing out again.
There's a whole lot of people probably like to see you on camera because I got a face for radio. Yeah. Get Pastor Mel up there and and take Todd off there. And
you hear me okay?
I hear you. Sound great.
It's giving me a little problem. Give me just one moment. I'm doing something wrong. I know it. Could you just keep it moving for just one moment?
Yes, I was doing something wrong. That's the story of my life. And by the way, that's true, by the way. Sometimes just get out there and start messing it up, right? There is no right or wrong. It's 3 a day, follow up 3 a day, 1 on the Zoom. You just start messing it up. You don't try to figure it out. Just go mess it up. In fact, the person that I was listening to who first started talking about TikToks, right? And I think a lot of you guys may have heard the story. I started doing some TikTok, and I've done 12 TikToks. And on the TikTok account, I had no idea what I was doing. I put the first video up, and a few people watched. Put another video up, and some people watched. Right. Well, by the time I got to the 12th video, that video did a little bit better than some of the others. Right. I'm going to show you guys the screen. It's now up to 96,000. Right. 96,500 people have watched that video on TikTok. But I had it's up right there. I had no idea what I was doing. No clue. The guy said, look, don't try to figure it out. The ones you think will go viral won't. The ones you think that won't go viral will. And you just go out there and start messing it up. I'm like, that I can do. You are the coach for me, right? Just go out there and just start doing it, right? You heard the video last week from Daryl Roberts with A.L. Williams. You just do it. You just do it. You just do it. And then you do it and do it and do it and do it some more. There he is. Hey, Pastor Mel.
Man, thank you for your patience. I was starting to panic here. The technology, sometimes it helps you. Sometimes it can hurt you. Shout out to all the family. Coach, man, listen, could you just send me an application online so I can sign up all over again?
Who's got it better than us, right?
Man, I'm telling you what, this has been incredible. And you're telling nothing but the truth, man. Sometimes we just don't understand how good we have it. It is surely a blessing to be connected with you, man. So thanks for sharing all that you've already shared. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah, you sound great. And brother, I was going to make the joke when you said you're having trouble with the technology. I was going to do a little Bible. You know, the spirit is willing, but the technology camera is weak. You know.
It happens, I tell you. It's not all it's cracked up to be at times, but I'm grateful and thankful. I just wanted to share a few things. You know, it's funny, you were talking about your grandfather and how he was such an inspirational person to you. And when you asked me last night to share a few words as the leadership is, I thought about my granddad. He's 96 years young, lives in Savannah, Georgia, Marine Corps veteran. And he was actually one of those who integrated the U.S. Marine Corps way back in the Bible day, I'll call it. He and a few of his other peers, they received congressional medals of honor. And he's been a hero big in my eyes all my life. He's a bricklayer and a retired pastor. And it's two things that he's said all of my life that I know. He's probably said it much longer than that. But I'm going to talk about those two, I'll call them key phrases that he uses and how it's applicable to everything that you've already said and what we really need to know. The first statement that he says, night or day, you'll hear Granddaddy talk about this. He'll say, where the rubber meets the road. How many of you watching this broadcast have heard somebody, anybody, maybe you use it yourself, have heard that phrase, where the rubber meets the road? Granddaddy says that thing night and day. And when I was coming up, I really didn't, what the world, rubber meeting the road. It just didn't, I grew up city. I didn't know what the rubber or the road was in that regard. Didn't know what it meant. But as you get a little older, you begin to make sense of it. And I think it's very applicable here in Trevorium with everything in the industry that Coach Todd has been talking about. Listen, guys, the things that we've heard, the volume of information we've heard already, this would be something that in the past, there would be a price tag on it. Somebody would have had to pay probably more than $100 to get the information that you've already received this morning. But this is where the rubber meets the road concerning Trevorium. But first, let's make sure we understand what that means. That means there's some traction there. Just because you have movement doesn't necessarily mean you have traction. There are a lot of things that we do, myself included, we've put a lot of energy in, and it was somewhat spinning the wheels. Somewhat you're in the same spot. And I believe this, if you're in the same spot as you were last year, something went wrong. If you're in the same spot as you were 10 years ago, something went wrong. And we need to go back to the basics. We need to go back to the foundation. We need to examine some things and find out where the rubber meets the road. Because just because you give it more gas, just because you try harder, doesn't necessarily mean that you're going to get the end result that you intend to get. So Granddaddy, he would say this thing, where the rubber meets the road. So real quick, I'm going to talk about this as it relates to Trevorium. I want to make sure can you hear me, Coach Todd? I want to, because this camera can sometimes go crazy on me.
I know you look good. You sound good.
Excellent. All right. Thank you, sir. You're so kind. But first thing, where the rubber meets the road with Trevorium, I want you to think about the product. My wife and I, we've been with Trevorium for 3 years now, and we would not trade anything for this journey, for this experience. The time that she had to take a group of girlfriends to Greece, I'm still a little swole about that, but we'll talk about that on another occasion. The times we've had multiple occasions to go to Bahamas, Cancun multiple times, bringing in the new year in Jamaica, all up and down the East Coast, Texas, California. Those vacations, those getaways were made available because of Trevorium. In the past, we used to do this thing with timeshares. We wasted so much money. I mean, I'm sure well over 100 grand in the 30 plus years that we owned timeshares, but we didn't know what we didn't know. And many people don't know what they don't know. We didn't. And as a result, if we could have got inside of Trevorium sooner, if we would have known about it, we would have already been here. And the fact of the matter is, people just don't know what they don't know. But where the rubber meets the road is with our product. Because people are going to travel. People are going to Bahamas. They're going to Cancun. They're going to Jamaica and everywhere else. They're going to many more places than that. The truth is, they're going, but they're paying full price. So where the rubber meets the road first is when we use the product that we have. Secondly, where the rubber meets the road, I want you to consider this. is that we need to understand the value of what we have. See, everybody's traveling with or without us, but our value is, what sense would it make to pay the full price when you can pay a tenth or less going to the same places? Say it again. I want you to really consider this. If you're going to be traveling anyway, why would you want to pay 100% when you can pay 10% or less? If you're going to travel anyway, why would you not want your travel to be tax deductible? That just wouldn't make sense to me. If you're going to travel anyway, why would you pay the full price when we have the opportunity for you to come and go where you want to go, when you want to go? And contrary, there are some other companies and travel clubs, so forth and so on, but the whole thing that they put together, they determine where you go, they determine when you go. But with us inside of Travorium, you're in charge of your own travel, who you go with, where you go, so forth and so on. And the only thing you're doing differently is, number one, it's going to be tax deductible. And number two, you're going to pay about 10% or less than what you would do otherwise. This is where the rubber meets the road. But number three, where the rubber meets the road, when we understand the necessity of entrepreneurship, and Coach Todd is a guru, he's genius. Guys, get this presentation, watch it over and over again. I kid you not, you won't get anything better anywhere else. Dude he's laid it out. I'm thinking about signing up again, because he has laid it all out. And understanding the necessity of entrepreneurship is so key. This is where the rubber meets the road, because entrepreneurship, contrary to what some are still saying, is no longer a luxury. Entrepreneurship is no longer something extra, something you do on the side. Listen now, you better have you some entrepreneurship. Now, I'm not sure which direction you're going to have, but he's already talked to you about, the franchises and the different other forums. If that's your thing, go ahead and do it, but compare. Just do the research. You don't even have to take his word or mine for it. You'll get much more bang for the buck if you are entrepreneur at heart. If you know that now is the time like never before, why would you not exercise due diligence to get all of your questions answered concerning this thing called Travorium? This is where the rubber meets the road. It's not something extra. It is not a luxury. It is a necessity. We need additional streams of income like never before. The systems, the strategies, the structures of the past are no longer serving us the way they used to serve us. You try to stay somewhere for 40 years now and retire and get the Rolex and get the, happily ever after if you want to. You're going to be sadly mistaken. Those days are gone, and they're not coming back. They will not return, neither in the United States of America or any other place for that matter. So we need to do things differently if we want to get something differently. And entrepreneurship, I'm going to say it again, it is a necessity. I want somebody to go ahead and hashtag that. Entrepreneurship is a necessity, not a luxury. It's not something, oh, that's for those guys. No, you better have you some. You better have something that you own. Not that owns you. I love how Coach said it. Not that owns you. That's a difference. But that you own. Something that you can have your last name on it. We build everybody else's brand. We build everybody else's vision. Hear me. We build something special. Their dreams are being built because of us. What are you building for yourself, for your family, for your tribe? Entrepreneurship will allow you to do that, and we believe that at Travorium, a better life requires a better way. And this is where the rubber meets the road. I think it was Jennifer Holliday. I could be wrong. It could have been someone else. Y'all correct me. But she sung it this way. I'm not going to sing it. I don't want to hurt nobody's feelings. But she said, God bless the child that got their own. That got to be you. That has to be me. That has to be us. You need some entrepreneurship in your life that's going to do something for you. It's nothing against corporate America or corporate UK or corporate anywhere else, but that is for someone else. You're building someone else's vision. You cannot pass that on to your children. Number one, they don't want it. Number two, it may not be there by the time they're even old enough to handle it. And they may or may not be qualified. So the thing of it is, I believe in education. I believe in all those types of things, but you got to understand entrepreneurship is a necessity. Where does the rubber meet the road? Granddad, if he was here, he would say this: when we understand the global and the universal nature of what we have, man, we got something that's powerful. Look at this call today. We got our sister and our brothers in the UK. We got them all over the United States. I believe Jamaica is in the place. We got Canada. I mean, this is global, y'all. We're in 63 plus nations. Are you kidding me? This is not a mom and pop. I mean, mom and pop can get their piece of the pie, but it's not a mom and pop. It's not restricted or limited to where you live. And people always talk about, well, I don't know anybody. There are more than, come on, billions of people on the planet. And it's global. And I love that about what we do, travel and trade. You got to understand the global and the universal nature. Nothing against those who, you know, whether it's cosmetics, that's a great field, great industry, or jewelry, that's a great field, that's a great industry, or health and wellness, billions of dollars being spent every year, you know, for the supplements and the pills and the, you know, all that. It's good, but it doesn't come close to travel. And it certainly doesn't come close to trade. These things that we speak of are universal and global. So why have something that's only going to satisfy a small portion of those on the planet when you can connect to something that can satisfy everybody? See, at some point, everybody is going to travel. Travel is ancient, y'all. You won't get an industry older than travel. You won't get an industry more universal, more global in its nature. Whether it's the $6 to $8 trillion being spent with travel or the $6 to $8 trillion being spent every single day in trade. We are at the mecca of the business opportunity. It won't get any bigger than this unless we go to Mars. And then that's another story. We won't talk about that. But where the rubber meets the road, this is a global, universal thing that we are a part of. But where the rubber meets the road also is when our reasons line up with our purpose. I love talking about purpose. It's one of my favorite subjects along with vision. And we got to be able to see that this thing is bigger than us. Shout out to Apostle Deborah Taylor, her team in particular, which I'm honored to be a part of, Team Legacy. This thing is about legacy, y'all. This thing is not about what we can do individually, but it's about what we can do together. It's about community. It's about leaving a heritage. Last month, we know February, United States of America is Black History Month. And I've watched so many programs and documentaries and things of that sort, always inspired, always encouraged. And when you think about those who have come before you and laid down so much, not because they were going to get it for themselves, but because they were looking for us, that we would be the recipients. When we begin to live like that, that whether I arrive or not, but my grandchildren, that I can leave something for my children's children. Because again, I can't leave them my job. I can't leave them my career, but I can leave them something else. And when you know that this thing is bigger than us, and when it lines up with your purpose for your tribe, and you're willing to do whatever it takes to make that impact, man, it just keeps you up at night. I believe if Granddaddy was talking right now, he would say something about this is one of the ways that the rubber meets the road. But then he would tell us that the rubber meets the road when we take advantage of the incredible leadership training that this company offers. I mean, come on, I already told you. I would pay money to hear what I already heard this morning from Coach Todd. I mean, whether it's he or of course the Roberts or a brother from Canada or the Taylors or the many other countless leaders who have often graced us with their skill set, with the depth of personal development, the nuggets. Man, people pay for this and we're getting it for free. We're getting it just by association, just because we're connected like that. Man, I'm telling you, God is good. So the thing of it is, I believe the rubber meets the road when you really understand the depth and the magnitude of the leadership that we have. I mean, educational degrees, that's great. Personal development, we need all of that. But what we're getting right now is so priceless that it can literally change your life for generations to come if you take it serious. And I don't know about you, but just hearing what I heard this morning, I'm taking it even more serious. But where does the rubber meet the road with Trevorium? I believe the rubber meets the road with Trevorium when we better understand the target of who we're looking for. Here's what I know. No one's voice is for everyone. I mean, you're not going to reach everybody. You're not going to get everybody's attention. And gone should be the expectation that everybody's going to say yes. The majority, in fact, are not going to say yes. You don't need everybody. He's already told you. You just need a few. You just need a handful. And then show them the same, and the duplication will take care of itself. It can't get any more simplistic than that. And you got to be willing, as I am, to cross over your nose. And to cross over everybody who, they hit you with this one. Well, I need to think about it. What do you need to think about? You're already spending money. The fact is, you're either going to keep spending it or you're going to spend less of it. Conversation over. Or those who are real spiritual, well, I'm going to pray on it. Man, if you need to keep praying about this, I'm starting to question who you're praying to. I'm serious. It's just that apparent. We need to take this much more seriously. But you're going to have people that are going to come up with all kind of stuff. Well, it's a pyramid. Well, do you understand that CEO at the top and the CFO and the COO and everybody else? What in the world do you call that? And you got to be willing to step over all the nonsense, all the ignorance, all the skepticism, all the criticism, all the doomsayers, all the naysayers, and folk who are not even doing anything themselves. Step over it. I believe that's where the rubber meets the road, that we got to be able to understand everybody is not our target. You just need a few people. And I know that there are some like-minded people somewhere on this planet that are waiting to hear your voice. And they're only going to get it from you. If I approached them, they probably wouldn't respond to me, but they're going to respond to you because they're waiting for you to arise and to show up. If Granddaddy was on this call, he would say that the rubber meets the road. But there's one more statement that he says, and he says this one probably more than where the rubber meets the road, and I'll close with this. Granddaddy has this thing he says, oh, I'm still traveling by faith, son. I spoke to him just a couple of other days. 2 days ago, he said, I'm still traveling by faith. And I like that. Maybe I need to call Granddaddy and put him in a business because he did say traveling. So that means he likes to travel there, right? I'm still traveling by faith. This is a travel business. But I'll say this, if you're going to be in this particular travel business, in this particular trade business, in business at all, you better be traveling by faith. It's the only way to go, because there's going to be times when you're not going to feel like it. There's going to be times when it just doesn't seem like it's adding up. You're not where you thought you would be. You've run into obstacles. People that you started with have quit. They have left. They have gotten disgruntled and scrambled. It's going to happen. It happens to everybody. It's a part of the process. And if you're not traveling by faith, you'll be way too deep in your feelings. And this is not a business of feelings. It's a business of faith. And if you're not in the business of faith, you shouldn't even start. And you got to keep putting one foot in front of the other, no matter what you see and no matter who does what. You got to make up your mind before you even get started that you will not quit. Could I tell somebody this morning, don't you dare quit. I know you've entertained it. I know you may not be where you thought you would be, but it's worth it. In fact, I believe that if it was ever worth it for you to get started, then sure enough, it's worth it for you to finish what you started and see what the end is going to be. I don't know about you, but I wouldn't trade nothing for my journey, not a day of it, not where I intend to be, but I'm going to keep on moving forward. A better life requires a better way. And I would encourage you to do the same. If Granddaddy was here, he would say those two things. 96 years young, he would say, this is where the rubber meets the road, and to keep traveling by faith. Coach Todd, I want to turn it back over to you, sir.
I love the whole, obviously, traveling by faith, because I think that's a big part of our business, right? Sometimes just, you're going to have bad days, you're going to have rough days, but guess what? That's true. Even if you put up the $2 million to own the McDonald's, you're going to have people that, hey, I told you no pickles on my hamburger and you put pickles and I hate pickles and they came out cold and the fries were this and my milkshake was that and Your employee's awful. And You're going to get people coming and screaming and yelling, no matter what you do, no matter what business, you're going to have those rough days. The difference is if you do the McDonald's, you know, the $2 million you had to put up is going to keep you showing up every day, even if you had a bad day. You know, the 2 million keeps you coming back. You got no choice. They got your 2 million.
That's right.
So the advantage here is you don't have to put up 2 million. The advantage here is you can get started. Obviously, you can start with one service. You don't have to do platinum travel trader out of the gate. You can do, you know, just 99. But because it's only $99, it's easy to walk away from when you have a bad day. So it's great. Anyone can do it. Anyone can participate. You can make a lot more money here than you can owning the McDonald's, and you don't have to put up the 2 million.
Right.
Bad news is that the 2 million doesn't keep you on track, and it's easy to quit, and everybody quits. In fact, if you go to John chapter 6, verse 66, there's that dreaded 666, by the way, but you know, John chapter 6, verse 66, you can read about Jesus's top 72 lieutenants, his top 72 ambassadors who he had sent out 2 by 2. They quit. They quit on him. And if they quit on Jesus, don't be surprised when they quit on you. Okay. People are going to quit. It's human nature. They've been doing it for 2,000 years of recorded history. It's not going to stop again tomorrow. That's right. You just got to make sure you ain't one of them. Right. You got to make sure you ain't one of them that quit. Hey, I ain't falling for that stuff. Right. I'm going to walk by faith. I'm going to keep doing this thing until. And anytime you do something, anytime you try until, that's when things happen. In fact, I mean, you know, I love when Tony Robbins asked that question. You ask the question of any mother, how long do you give your average baby learn how to walk? A month, 2 months? I mean, come on. Hey, it ain't in the cards. I mean, the kid's falling down 14 times, right? He ain't give up. I mean, no, my baby going to keep trying and trying and trying until he learns how to walk. And it's no wonder that almost everyone on the planet knows how to walk, right? Now, God's a genius. I mean, luckily he made those legs short and gave you that big padded diaper because you do a whole lot of like, boom, right? You didn't have to fall a long way, right? You only fall a couple inches, right? And cushion that fall, right? But that's how you do anything. And you do anything by trying until. And so, yeah, I mean, you got to walk by faith. It's where the rubber meets the road. And in our business, I would say the rubber hits the road when, like the lady, and of course, I want to give Bill Fox, who gave me the quote. But she's making massive money in our industry, and she has one training only. Talk to 3 people a day, follow up with 3 people a day, and make sure you have someone on every Zoom call. If you just do that over and over and over, everything else is commentary. That's where the rubber hits the road, right? Obviously, there's things we can do here to be a product of the product that can accelerate that. I mentioned a gentleman, but in fact, I think he's on here. I think Conrad, I want to give you a shout out. Welcome aboard. But he got on yesterday with Lawrence. I think his 3 brothers are ready to sign up. And of course, like, wow, I mean, Conrad signed up, his 3 brothers ready to sign up. Why is that? Well, because his buddy Lawrence is making $100 a day trading. I mean, so when you get that product result, when you go, we booked Punta Cana last night, all-inclusive resort, 5 days on the ocean, 5-star resort, all the food, all the booze, everything for me and my wife, Gina, right? It cost us $299. What are you kidding me? It's like a joke. I mean, $299 for the entire trip of all the food. I mean, if you guys do the math on that, right? Because I had to go buy my grandson. He wanted a bacon Western cheeseburger, a fry, and a milkshake, right? I went through Carl's Jr. the other day. And I mean, for that one meal alone, it costs like $15.
Right.
Well, if you eat 3 meals a day, that's $45, right? Well, if you're there 5 days, I mean, you're going to eat more in food in 5 days. It doesn't even include, if you participate in some of the bubbly, you start ordering some white wine or something else. I mean, that bill shoots up. My buddy last night, in fact, Ryan, he took some friends out to dinner and they were having a good time. He threw his credit card out there. I think I spent $400. He spent $400 last night on dinner for just him. And, it was him, Tammy, and John and Joni. Okay. And he spent $400 on dinner. I said, wow, I just booked Punta Cana for 5 days, all inclusive, all the food, all the drinks for $299. It's like, I mean, so you kind of put it in context, right? Again, so it's like, wow, I mean, that's really unbelievable. Yeah. And so sometimes by being a product of the product, that can obviously help when you go out there, rubber hit the road, right? I mean, what is your product? Well, let me show you. I'm making $100 a day trading. That's why I keep showing my crypto account here on the screen. Right. So that people can kind of get a feel that, I mean, there's things really happening in a dynamic way here where people are succeeding. Even without building a team, you can learn to trade and succeed. Yep. Lawrence, it's not, I mean, I know he went signed up Conrad, and Conrad's got his 3 brothers coming on board, but I mean, he was already making 100 a day because he's a product of the product. He's already having success. Danny Seguinal's now joined those ranks. Cynthia Sly's joined those ranks. I know Dale Turner's joined those ranks. I know that Shin, I mean, he was doing like 300 a day on average out of the gate. And so we're getting more and more of those stories. And for those of you that have not participated in the Forex, right, I can tell you that back when we first got started, and it was called P2S in the early days. In the early days, we did not have every dollar you spend gets you 2 points toward a getaway. We certainly didn't have world tours with all inclusives for $2.99. We didn't have any of that, right? In fact, when we first started, we had the net travel portal with good rates. That was it. There was nothing else, and we were excited. And then one day, the company added this free trip incentive. Okay, and we obviously we've expanded it since then. Back then, there was only a few places you could go. You could go to the United States, Mexico, or you could go to Bali, right?
Right.
But that was it. Now there's 60 different places. You get one trip per year. I know that Kyle, who's on here on Facebook, he just got back from Cancun, went to the Grand Mayan, which is a Vedante property. He was down there for 7 days for a total of like $90. I mean, the place is absolutely, it's like the Walt Disney of resorts. I mean, if you go there and just see the landscape in Lum Pastor, you're like, who did all this? I mean, it looks like a Disney production just with the landscaping. It's out of this world, right on the ocean, right? So, we were begging people in the early days to take a trip. It's free. You can put the day you join, you can book it. And it's like, we were begging people, like, I mean, please take your trip. We get on these, like, you need to be a product of the product. It's a free trip incentive. Just go book a trip. Just book a trip. Please book a trip. You should book a trip. And it's like, it was like Poland. Like we thought we were handing out root canals. I mean, it's like you were begging someone to go on a trip. But then eventually enough people started going on trips. Right now, people are going constantly going here, going there. And this thing is great. Everyone loves it, right? And so people kind of started figuring that out, that this stuff really works, right? Well, now we're doing the Forex thing. It's like we're going through the same cycle. I think we kind of rolled it out and you kind of like heard about these guys, but like, yeah, not many people, it's like, it was kind of like the stalemate, right? Well, we got this thing, but I don't really know much about it. But now people start to hear the stories, right? It's like it's Cynthia, Danny, Shin, Dale, Lawrence. I mean, it's like the stories are starting to build, right? Andre, and it's like, whoa. Every time I turn around, someone's making some money doing this thing, and maybe I ought to go take a look at that, or maybe I own it, but I maybe need to hook up my account, right? And so we're starting to build those stories over there in the same way. And of course, that's going to start to spread. And when you put these two things together, I was talking to Camilo yesterday, Camilo Peraza.
Yeah.
He's our, one-star ambassador there with the Latin American team. And we were talking about the upcoming travel boom. And I said, Camilo, it's kind of funny. You got a lot of things happening. Number one, when you look at our company, we actually are bigger right now than we were 12 months ago. And we just went through a pandemic.
Right.
Think about that. Now that's leadership, Mr. Dave Hart, right?
Yeah.
How do you grow a company? How do you go through the pandemic? We've not had something like this in 100 years.
Right.
A pandemic where borders are shut down, you can't go anywhere without a mask, and I mean everything's closed, and every day on TV all they're doing is giving out the death count, right? I mean, they got the death count scrolling there on the television, and obviously that's not making people think, hey, let's go on vacation, right? So I mean, please don't go anywhere because you could die. They're doing that, right? And we actually grew our travel company in the middle of a pandemic, right? Well, guess what? That pendulum is now swinging back the other way.
Mm-hmm.
I know tons of people who've actually gotten both shots, been completely vaccinated. They're saying that they're way ahead of the schedule. They're saying that like by April, the majority of people here in the States are going to be vaccinated. I read an article the other day, by summer, it's going to feel like 2019, meaning pre-pandemic all over again. You'll see people out there footloose, fancy free, going here, going there, doing this, doing that, going out to dinner, and everyone's vaccinated, and this is great. And it's legal to get together again. And so there's a travel boom that's waiting to happen. Right. But at the same time, we're building all these stories of people that are making 100 a day and 700, and they're trading, and of course, obviously we're seeing our crypto accounts explode. And of course, our guys are giving out crypto stuff, and you got both those things happening at the same time. And it's like this train right now. It's like leaving the station. I feel like it's going.
Yeah.
And then before long, and we all see the train, right? It starts to kind of like.
That's right.
It's just trying to build up a little bit. It's barely just creeping, right? And you can hear those things going, but we all know it starts to a little faster the second time around. Before long, it's like,
yeah, buddy.
it try to stop a freight train. I mean, when you got that momentum, and everywhere you look, you're hearing all the different people that are trading and making money, and suddenly people are realizing, man, these guys, the Forex team, these guys are incredible. They win 77% of the trades. It's no longer just a bullet point on a PowerPoint, right? It's all these people that like, man, look at all the money they're making. Right. And then you got people this upcoming summer because of all the vaccines. And I mean, we're going to Dubai, we're going to Rome, we're going to Punta Cana, we're going to Hawaii, we're going to Cancun, and I think we're going to Venice. Okay. And that's, what's it cost us? Like nothing, right? And that's just tapping into our points, right? And you get people, all over the place. I know with the one place in Spain, we already sold it out. It's already sold out. You get people going on all these trips, right? Of course, I mean, Pastor Mel, you and I have been on some trips together. We, not just on the world tour. I mean, we were, right, in Cancun together. We were obviously recently in Vegas together. And you get people going on these world tours. We're all there the same time. It's like this unbelievable euphoric experience. And while we're there, they're hearing about all the people making money trading. And I'm telling you,
life changing, man.
That freight train is coming. And then obviously that spreads, and then that's rank advancements happening left and right. And now it's not just people having these incredible experiences. It's not just trading, making money. People we're cranking 2 stars, 3 stars. People are driving brand new Mercedes, pulling up in the Range Rover. You got Danny, Mr. Segwin over there going boss mode, and driving his Lamborghini, right? And you're going to have people getting watches and going ambassador and all these other kind of things.
That's it. Can't stop. Unstoppable.
And for every one of you out there, I mean, again, you can hop on, as Pastor Mill just said, where the rubber hits the road in a number of different ways. It starts by just showing up. Yep. Being on this call like you are. I know we've gone now an hour 20. Showing up for Pastor Deborah Taylor tomorrow. Pastor Guy and Deborah Taylor tomorrow night, 6 o'clock California, 9 o'clock East Coast time. They do an amazing job. They being there with David Hart on his corporate update call on Monday night. I know we got the Tuesday night presentation. We got the Forex team and incredible stories on Wednesday night. We got Daryl Maria, 2 of the best on Thursday night. That we have a different guest on these training calls every week. Next week will be no exception. Showing up for this call and being here and taking in some information and, hey, what can I apply? Being a product of the product. Yeah, Todd, I've not been on a world tour like you and Pastor Mel. Well, go book one. You don't have to go on one to book one. You can book France for $239. And put that on your social media. Yeah. Me and the missus, we're going to Paris. Cost us $239. Hold on. You're going to Paris for $239. How are you going to Paris for $239? That's going to get a story going. That's going to get people talking. You can get a product result the second you book it. Todd, I don't have any money. I can't do the Forex. That's not true. You can hook up a demo account.
Yep.
Trade no money, right? Got no real money, but you can start taking the signals, applying that information like countless other people have done. And you start watching that account grow, and then trust me, you're going to find you some money. You'll be like, well, I want that to be real money, not just monopoly money, right? But you can get a product result just in the demo account. Again, I ask, whose side are you on? And so, Pastor Mel, thank you so much for being here today. For everyone else, again, don't let the day end. It's Saturday. It's 1 o'clock, 1:30 if you're on the East Coast, 10:30 in the morning here on the West Coast. 5:30, or excuse me, now it's now 6:30. If you're in the UK, 7:30 if you're in France, meaning it's still not too late even over there. You guys are getting ready to do Saturday Night Live. And so it's not too late. It only takes 5 minutes to reach out to 2 to 5 people and say, man, I found something I'm excited about. May or may not be for you. Are you open to taking a look? Right? Are you open to taking a look? That's all we ask people. Then send them the video and get them on the Zooms, do all that kind of stuff, right? Hey, do you keep your options open and making money outside what it is you currently do for a living? Hey, I'm involved with a side project that I think you might like. And would you be open to taking a look at what I'm doing if the money were exciting enough? Would you be open to taking a look at what I'm doing if the money were exciting enough, right? That's another just simple question you could ask. Just kind of lob it out there. And some say yes, perfect. Some say no. Hey, that's okay. It's about their timing, not ours. If you're a true servant leader, don't make it about you. Man, but I want him to do it. Yeah, that's about you. That's not about them, right? When it's them, it's about when they're ready to do it, right? There's 7 billion fish in the sea here. It ain't slowing down. New ones born every day. New ones turning 18 every day. And so there's no lack of new people that you can talk to. And so go out and talk to 2 to 5. Do it every day. Like that lady said, man, 3 a day. call 3, follow up with 3, get one on a Zoom, just do it again and again and again. Just be consistent. And I'm telling you, the people that are just consistent, there's lots of people. Brian Carruthers is one of them that comes to mind. He's made 40 million in our space, Pastor Mel. And
Yeah.
don't get me wrong. I mean, Brian's a good guy. He's got good stuff, but he's not like this great. He's not Pastor Mel. If people could hear Brian Carruthers get up on stage and then hear you get up on stage, hey, Brian, dude, sit down, man. Pastor Mel, eat your lunch every day of the week, right? It's not like he's like this unbelievably gifted speaker, right? He's fine. He's decent. I mean, his biggest thing is he made $40 million. That's
right.
That's his opening line. I've made 40 million. Whoa, how'd you make 40 million? And I made it because I'm just consistent, right? He'll tell you, I'm just consistent. I just keep doing the basics over and over again. I'm relentless. I never miss. I don't quit. I don't make excuses. I do the things I'm supposed to do. And that's why suddenly it all just started with like that train.
Yes.
And he caught momentum. So with that, guys, appreciate every single one of you. Pastor Mel, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you. It's my pleasure.
Hey, guys, tomorrow night, 6 o'clock with the West Coast, 9 o'clock East Coast, Pastor Deborah and Guy. And have a great day everyone.
All right. Take care, Coach.
Bye, guys. God bless.